back to the Mr. Show. I'm Quentin. Let's get into it. So, it has been a couple days. The weekend's been busy. Yesterday was Memorial Day. Shout out to all the veterans who have served or currently are serving. Shout out to all you guys. Much love, much deserved appreciation. All right. So today might be a longer episode. I am looking at my phone for something that did catch my eye over the weekend, which does involve college football. Then I will talk about the NBA. It's been pretty packed over the weekend and last night. Where to start? So, I'm going to start with college football first. This might be a longer video because I'm trying to compact everything from Friday, Saturday-ish till today. So just bear with me. All right. So for college football and College Football 25, the video game that's coming out in June, I want to say almost a month, but we're not even at June 19th yet. So I'm just anticipating. All right. I found this out. EA Sports is paying colleges for College Football 25 based on a tier system using AP poll finishes from the past 10 years. I thought that was interesting. I still don't know what I think about it, how I feel. I think it's just interesting. So, it is split into 4 tiers. Tier 1, 2, 3, and 4. Easy enough. Maybe I just don't know much about it, but it looks like for tier 1, I'm just going to list these schools. I understand why some are in this tier, but I don't understand why a couple are in this tier. But listen, you have Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Georgia, LSU, Michigan, Oregon, Oklahoma State, Penn State, Utah, and Iowa as your tier 1. And it looks like throughout those tier 1 schools, looks like it's broken down into points. It looks like 10 points are the most. 0 is the least you can get. But it looks like no one's getting 0. It looks like 10 for your top 3, which look like Alabama, Ohio State, and Clemson. Because over the past 10 years, those schools have been the most dominant. We've seen it from 2013-14 till now. We've seen how dominant those teams have been. Remember, Clemson has won a couple national championships in the past 10 years. Same thing with Alabama. I think the last Ohio State team to do that, to win the championship, that is, was 2015, which was against Alabama. But the last time they made it to the championship was 2020, where they got absolutely dogged on by Alabama. So I guess you can call it a little payback for the Crimson Tide. So I can see those: Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Georgia, LSU, Michigan, Oregon, Oklahoma State, Penn State, Utah, and Iowa, all in that order. So it looks like from highest to lowest. I don't know what these points mean, but I do have some sort of how the payouts are going to be ranged. It looks like from under 10,000 to nearly 100,000. And it looks like by each tier, of course, tier 1, you're going to get the most money. Then it kind of trickles down a little bit. So from best getting the best, and I don't want to say the worst getting the worst, but not the best getting low money. Understandable. Let me get into it. Tier 1, almost $100,000. You're getting $99,875. Tier 2, this is drastic. $59,925. Tier 3, $39,950. And tier 4, $9,987. So with that in mind, let me scroll. Tier 2, We're going to tier 2. So you have some teams. I can understand some teams being in tier 2. Like, they're good, but they ain't really done much. Or they kind of fell off a little bit. But some teams that caught my eye in tier 2 that are not in tier 1. USC, but USC hasn't been good in a long time. A very long time. And since Lincoln Riley got there, they have been good this past year. Probably the worst I've seen Lincoln Riley do, but it's all right. But USC, Florida State, Texas, and when I look, I see Ole Miss is in there. And I'm also looking some big colleges that might have been good the past 10 years. I'll put North Carolina in there. North Carolina's been good, but I don't think they're good enough to be a tier 1. But out of those, like, why is Oklahoma State in there? Why is Iowa in there? Utah, even though Utah is a phenomenal program, they shouldn't be in there, especially over teams. 2 teams, I believe, out of those that really caught my eye in tier 2. Those over Texas and Ole Miss. I don't know. Then you got tier 3, tier 4 with a ton of schools. I'm not going to get into it because it's a long list. But I'll show you the list. 1 second. Let me pull it up. I'll pull this up. So y'all can pause the video a little bit. Sorry if it's a little unclear. But there's the list of tier 1, 2, 3, and 4. You guys want to pause the video once this is done to look, go ahead. And then I'm going to show the points real quick so you guys see what I'm talking about. I know this might look a little goofy, but I'm trying to make sure you guys understand. Then here are the tier. This is just tier 1. Tier 1 points. Try to get it close as y'all can see. Top to bottom and then left to right. You see that? So that's what's going on with all of that. I think it's just also because for the past 10 years, excuse me, we haven't had a college football game because of the NCAA. And now with how NIL has evolved drastically, and now bringing College Football 25, the video game, back, all these players and schools have not profited. And now because of NIL and the game coming back, they're going to try and make up what they lost. Because imagine if the college football game since NCAA 14, college football 14 with Denard Robinson on the cover. Imagine since then until now, all the money, not only schools, but programs, any sports program, basketball, football, it could be swimming, water polo, soccer, lacrosse, you name it. Big name athletes we've seen come out of college in the past 10 years. Imagine the money not only those players, programs, but schools in general could have made. And I'm assuming what EA is doing is somewhat trying to make up. And this is not on EA. This is not on EA. EA is not responsible whatsoever for not making a college football game since NCAA 14. The NCAA is fully responsible. It is their fault. But imagine the amount of money. This money could have gone to programs, could have gone for funding in other ways. You see what I'm saying? This is going to change not only the video game world, bringing this game back, but the reality of college sports, not just football, but sports. It is insane. So I'm excited to see how it goes down. I know I'm going to talk this one last thing about college football. My friend sent me this real quick. So he sent me from, it looks like a verified profile for college football. Looks like there's going to be a big information dump. So it looks like it's going to talk about team builder, create and customize up to 120 different teams, which is wild. It looks like logos, uniforms, stadium design, sounds, mascot. I mean, you name it. That sounds wild to me. Then with that, it looks like detailed coach creation, edit your coaches. You can pass awards, records, employment history, whatever. Looks like you can create your own virtual reality of a coach, a team. It sounds wild. It sounds kind of cool. Then it looks like for Dynasty, it looks like deeper than what anybody's anticipating right now. So as I am looking at it, looking on my phone, so if I keep looking back, that's why. Where to start? Looks like insane amount of detail, immersive experience. This mode is not just about playing a game. Looks like it's about managing every aspect of your team and franchise. Woo! Looks like deeper scouting. Scouting poorly negatively affects your coach standing, job security. I like that. It's making it somewhat realistic, unlike Madden. Madden is the most unrealistic damn game ever invented. But from what I'm reading so far, I'm almost done. This sounds like a little realistic for Dynasty, that is, which is awesome. I get it. In college football, poor scouting, poor evaluation. You might get your butt kicked out of the program. I get it. That's a real life thing. Let me finish this. So I said job security and standing. You can also negotiate coach contracts, manage team morale. I like that, especially in college football. Team morale is a huge thing. You get it. Your college kids, you're playing for hopes of a playoff spot and eventually getting a national title. I get it. It's different from the pros. But poor team morale can cause players to transfer if their needs are not met. Every decision you make is crucial to your success. That also sounds very realistic. As we see nowadays in college football, if a player, whether he's offense or defense, does not matter the position whatsoever, they're not getting playing time, but they're putting in the work, or they might not be feeling it at this program. Excuse me. Or you name it, you bet they're hitting the transfer portal. You could be, I'm going to just go with the quarterback. You could be a quarterback at Georgia Tech and say your team's not doing well and you want to play for a team who is and can be a contender. Because let me tell you, Georgia Tech is a poor program, and I hope they become great like they once used to. But say a quarterback from Georgia Tech transfer. Say you transfer to Georgia. Just say that. Georgia Tech to Georgia. Simple. You weren't getting what you wanted or what you felt like you needed at Georgia Tech. You hit the portal. You go to Georgia. We see it all the time in college football. We just saw it recently with Cormani McClain. 5-star recruit, number one cornerback in his class. Was at Colorado. He talked about how he felt about Colorado. Coach Prime, what was going on in that culture. He talked about it. Transferred to Florida. Not like Florida's any better. But who knows? That sounds interesting. Last part before I move on. This is a multi-year development process allowed developers to build a game that is incredibly complex and refined. Note, once again, this game is not going to feel like Madden or any other sports game you've played. Real-time sideline interactions, dynamic crowd behavior, etc. Level of detail and the realistic gameplay will make you feel like you're part of a living, breathing sports universe. That sounds incredible. Incredible. Now, from where we were earlier with what we got the reveal trailer, things that are not going to be in College Football 25, things that are. Everyone was a little skeptical. But now with this, remember, take it with a grain of salt. We don't know, but from what this seems and sounds like, because this is coming from someone who looks like they have a relative that is a senior marketing staffer at EA, came out and said this information. And if this is true, this only makes the game sound a lot better. A lot better. Now, I know we're still waiting for gameplay. I do want to see gameplay. I want to see how it looks. Now, I know in the reveal trailer, it looked really good. But I do want to see some gameplay. But from what I see from this, what I read and just told you guys, and from what we saw with the reveal and all sorts of things, this sounds like a damn good, pretty good. It sounds pretty good to me. Sounds very good. All right. So that is it with college football. Whew. A lot of news to cover. All right. Now, NBA. Whew. So I'm going to talk about Boston because they are the first team to make it to the NBA Finals out of the East and the West. Boston beats Indiana 4-0. 4-0. Now, game 4, Boston just barely wins. They win by 3. Game 3, they win by 3. Game 2, I believe I talked about it, won by 16. And then game 1, they won by 5 in overtime. Congratulations to the Boston Celtics. But I don't feel any way towards it. I'm not surprised. I'm not ecstatic. I'm not whoop-de-doo. The Boston Celtics made it. Are you? The question is, will the Boston Celtics win the NBA Finals? Or can the Boston Celtics win the NBA Finals? And if they don't, whether they play Dallas, and I'll get to them, their series in a minute, because Dallas is up 3-0. Game 4 is tonight in Dallas. I'll get to that series in a moment before I wrap up. But I've mentioned this in previous episodes. What is the excuse for Boston if you do not win this year? What is the excuse that everyone's going to give Boston? Because I'm tired of hearing excuses when it comes to the Boston Celtics. Oh, we did this. We just didn't do that. We didn't have so-and-so. Tatum didn't play great. Yeah, Tatum hasn't been playing great the entire series. He hasn't been playing great in the entire playoffs. Yet, here they are. So say he doesn't play great in the finals. Oh, we just lost because Tatum didn't play great. BS. BS. I've said this once. I'm going to say it again. The Boston Celtics are the San Francisco 49ers of basketball. You're great in the regular season. You're great in the playoffs. You're capable of getting a top 3 seed. You can make it to the championship game for the NBA Finals, for the Super Bowl, NFL, right? But what happens when you get there? You can't spell Celtics without an L, because that's what they've been getting. You blew a series in 2022 in the finals. You should have beaten Golden State. You blew it last year against Miami in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I don't know how in the hell that happens, because Miami shouldn't have made the playoffs. This since 2009, I believe, was the last championship for Boston. Since then, you've been knocking on the door. You've been a very good team, but you can't open the door. It's like a car trying to go over a speed bump. You can't get over the bump, but you know you can. I'm not impressed with Boston. I am going to congratulate them. They made it. Great job. But what are you going to do? You had a cakewalk round 1 against whoever they played, Miami. You had a cakewalk against Cleveland. I knew that was happening. And I get they swept Indiana. But dang, you look at it. Indiana lost by 3, game 4, and they were up. Boston should have lost that game. How about we talk about game 3? Same thing. Indiana was up 18, lost by 3. Series would be 2-2 right now. Leave game 2 as it is. How about we talk about game 1? And I've been seeing comments on social media about this. And you know what? I agree. If you really look in depth and analyze this entire series between Boston and Indiana, you should realize Indiana should be up 3-1. I realize that. Game 5, Boston won in overtime by 5, in which Indiana led with, I believe, 1:30 left in that game, because I did talk about this in a recent episode about this game. Indiana, they gave that game away. So Indiana should have won game 2. I mean, not won game 2. Won game 1. Lose game 2. So now you're tied. Indiana should have won game 3 and game 4. Indiana's up 3-1. And I get you didn't have Tyrese Halliburton for the last 2 games. It sucks. But Boston, they've done nothing. You played Miami. They didn't have Jimmy Butler and Terry Rozier. We've seen Jimmy Butler single-handedly slay the Boston Celtics. He is the Boston Celtics Dragon Slayer. In the Cleveland series, you were getting cooked by Donovan Mitchell by himself. Then he missed 2 games. You won the series. Let alone, I said, one man was beating you by himself. That was Donovan Mitchell. Once again, may I say. Indiana. Now I get they don't have a Donovan Mitchell, but they got a Tyrese Halliburton, who did step up. Miles Turner stepped up. Actually, I should say that entire team They played well, but not well enough when it mattered most. And that's what's sad. I did predict Boston in 5. I did say Boston in 5 at best. Worst 4-2. But I am proud of the Pacers. Where they were last year, didn't even make playoffs. This year, they stunned. I did have them beating Milwaukee first round. They did. I did not have them beating New York. Beat them in 7. And when I saw they were going to play Boston, I figured they were not going to beat Boston. I'm sorry. It happened. But once again, I'm going to say this for this series, and then I'll talk about Dallas really quick before I wrap this episode up. If the Boston Celtics do not win the finals this year, what excuses are we going to give them now? Because you should have a healthy Kristaps Porzingis. Jason Tatum, but he hasn't been doing jack-ish in the playoffs. Always getting 20, 25, 30 points. But yeah, when he's shooting 10 of 30, when he's shooting 11 of 25, when he's shooting 9 of 20, 1 of 7 from the field, from 3, I mean, whoa. Whoa, I'm dangerous. Oh, that don't scare me. Jaylen Brown just won Eastern Conference Finals MVP. I'm not surprised because he has been the best player on this team in the entire playoffs. Know why and I get Brown was drafted in 16, Tatum in 17, so there's a year difference in contracts. But you see why not Tatum, Brown got an extension. Supermax, might I say, instead of Tatum. Now, Tatum may not be up for a contract yet. But he's our franchise player. He's our superstar. Heck yeah, I'm going to sign him before he's up for a deal. What are the excuses we're going to give Boston now? And I'm going to say this one more time, and I know I've said it a lot, then I'll move on. The Boston Celtics are the San Francisco 49ers of the NBA. Say it ain't so. Prove me wrong. All right. Moving on real quick. So, tonight, Game 4, Minnesota at Dallas. Dallas is up 3-0. We'll see if Dallas can close out the series tonight. Derek Lively is out. He got kneed really hard in the back of the head by Karl Anthony Towns in Game 3. Sucks. Leave it at that. I am rooting for Dallas. I was expecting a 7-game series. But for Dallas to be up 3-0 right now, I'm shocked. But I am happy. Still a little bitter from the Denver Minnesota series. I don't know what else to say. Luka and Kyrie have been phenomenal. Oh my gosh. Phenomenal. The role players, phenomenal. Doing their thing. I'm going to wrap up. See if Dallas can close the series out tonight. Maybe a little revenge for Kyrie. If Dallas wins tonight, you got to play an old team, which, let's say, that fan base does not like you, Kyrie. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, that's all I got. We'll see what goes on tonight. Looks like Dallas is favored to win by 1.5. So mainly by 2. Game's at 7:30. I will be watching. Watch that game. Talk about it tomorrow. So tomorrow's episode, as I wrap this up, I will talk about Minnesota and Dallas, game 4. Will Minnesota force a game 5? Will Dallas close out the series tonight at home? We'll see. I will talk about that tomorrow. All right. Once again, on Instagram, make sure you follow me, the Mr. Show. I do post daily or every other day. I'm gonna stay tuned and updated and engage with all of you. Make sure for the channel, like, follow, subscribe, comment, and share. Make sure to hit that notification bell so you do not miss an episode, and stay tuned till the next episode.